to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The process to destroy chemical warheads in Madison County ended in July, but that's not the end of the story. There is more cleanup work to be done, and the workforce used to do the work may not have to leave town to find other jobs. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the next steps in the destruction process.
You could start making your way.
Months after the final warhead was neutralized, Richmond leaders and others were told there is more work to do to finalize the weapon destruction process.
We got a lot of secondary waste to destroy, and we've got a plant to tear down, basically.
It's been a process that started all the way back in 1984 with the first meeting to talk about getting rid of the weapons stockpile of dangerous nerve agent that had been around since World War II. But after the destruction, the warhead still contains some residual agent to run through a detonation chamber.
It generates a lot of heat, over 1,000 degrees. That basically destroys any agent, and then what you have is basically scrap metal coming out.
And local leaders say that there are several strong possibilities for some new companies that will bring new jobs to this region because of what has taken place with the chemical weapons demolition and destruction that has been going on now for several years. They want to take advantage of an available and skilled workforce. Some of the companies deal with the military and munitions. Others are looking to make investments in the tens of millions of dollars.
But I can tell you that there is a company that is planning on locating here, that the estimated employment for that company is somewhere between 75 and 125 people.
Officials say another meeting to inform the community of activity will take place in December. In Madison County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials say today the final rocket was neutralized. They said today the final rocket was neutralized 85 days ahead of schedule.
Well, some of us are warm and dry this evening. Some of us also soggy out there. We're watching out for a few showers, especially north of the Mountain Parkway, also along and west of I-75. Zooming into the heavier showers on the board now in Elliott County, close to Isonville, also near the Louisa County line here, just to the north and east of Louisa. In Lawrence County, we are watching out for a few heavier downpours in northeast Kentucky, also in southeast Kentucky, from London into Williamsburg, also into Bell County as well. Nothing too heavy here, but some spotty showers are possible as we go into this evening for some of us, but for others we are dry. A live look from the London Corbin Airport. We are cooler thanks to clouds, also nearby showers. 83 degrees over in Laurel County, but check out the Big Sandy. 87 for Pikeville, 89 for Clintonwood, 88 over in Prestonsburg. So we are warm and toasty away from the showers, but near the showers not so bad, near average in the lower 80s for this evening. As we go into tonight, we are watching out for more spotty rain chances. Not going to rain everywhere, but some showers are possible into this evening, also into tonight, and those temperatures stay mild and muggy in the upper 60s and lower 70s as you wake up on Thursday, and more showers on Thursday, also into this weekend. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. A major U.S. show of support for Ukraine today in its battle against the Russian invasion. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington.
In an unannounced visit, Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky Wednesday. He's the first senior U.S. official to visit Kyiv since Ukraine began its counteroffensive in June against Russian forces.
We are determined in the United States to continue to walk side by side with you.
This is a difficult challenge and difficult, tough period for our society.
President Zelensky said he's thankful for continued support from the White House and Congress. Says Blinken announces a new aid package worth more than $1 billion that includes at least $175 million in military support.
The U.S. has so far provided more than $43 billion in security assistance to Ukraine. The Biden administration wants Congress to approve an additional $24 billion, but that could face a fight here on Capitol Hill.
This is the worst possible time to suggest that there is any division in the United States over continuing to support Ukraine, just as they are making progress.
Blinken's visit comes as Russia unleashed more brutal attacks on the war-torn country. A missile strike on a market in eastern Ukraine killed at least 16 people Wednesday. And just hours before the Secretary of State arrived, Russia aimed missiles at Kyiv that were intercepted by Ukrainian air defenses. 18 months after launching its invasion, Russian President Vladimir Putin may be asking North Korea for weapons. There are reports Kim Jong-un may travel to Russia this month for a summit with Putin. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Court documents reveal federal prosecutors plan to ask a grand jury for an indictment against Hunter Biden by the end of the month. Hunter is, of course, President Joe Biden's son. The exact charges are not clear, but officials say the charges may be related to a gun possession charge. Defense attorneys argue that the president's son cannot be prosecuted on a felony gun charge due to an agreement during a plea deal that fell apart back in July. A Washington-based advocacy group is trying to block former President Donald Trump from the 2024 Republican primary ballot in Colorado. Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington filed the lawsuit earlier today. It seeks to disqualify Trump by citing the 14th Amendment's ban on insurrectionists holding public office. In recent weeks, a growing number of liberal and conservative legal scholars have embraced the long-shot legal strategy. A federal judge has ruled that former President Trump is liable in the second E. Jean Carroll defamation case. That means the jury will only need to decide how much money Trump will have to pay to her when it goes to trial in January. Because the judge himself has already found the former president liable, Carroll must only prove how much she was harmed by Trump's statements. The ruling is a blow to Trump and significantly curtails the litigation. A Mar-a-Lago IT worker has reached an agreement with the Justice Department in the federal case regarding former President Trump's handling of classified documents. Yuskel Taveras struck the deal after he was threatened with prosecution, his former defense attorney wrote in the filing dated yesterday. According to terms of the deal outlined in the filing, Taveras agreed to testify in the classified documents case and in exchange will not be prosecuted. Actor Jonathan Majors' domestic violence trial has been pushed back for a second time, and a new hearing is set for September 15th. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office answered ready for trial this morning, and attorneys for Majors agreed to the new date. Last month, prosecutors requested more time for discovery, which was granted. If convicted, Majors faces up to a year in jail on misdemeanor charges for reportedly attacking a romantic partner in March. Day 2 of Texas Attorney General Kim Paxton's impeachment trial is underway. It is unclear whether Paxton will return to the state Senate after leaving the start of the historic proceedings early, but Republicans leading the impeachment are plowing ahead without him and starting with his former second in command. It's the first in a potentially long line of former allies who could testify against Paxton in the coming weeks. Senators are back in Washington after the chamber's August recess. As Senator Mitch McConnell and his colleagues get back to business, they only have until the end of the month to avoid a government shutdown. That will come in the form of a continuing resolution to buy time to pass all 12 appropriation bills needed to fully fund the government. But even that stopgap measure may not be easy to pass.
A shutdown is unnecessary and would harm so many American families and businesses. But if both sides work in good faith, embrace bipartisanship as we've done in the Senate, and avoid all or nothing tactics, then there'll be no shutdown. And that will be very good news for the American people.
The House of Representatives does not return to work until next week. A drug that can reverse opioid overdoses is now available without a prescription. Narcan is a nasal spray version of naloxone. It's for sale online or in store locations like Walgreens, Rite Aid, Walmart, and CVS. Emergent Biosolutions makes Narcan and suggests a retail price of about $45. Almost every state already allows pharmacists to provide the medication without a prescription. Now, due to FDA approval in March, it can go on shelves and online. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the FTC has received more than 550,000 reports of ID theft through the first half of this year. What you need to know and how to protect your child's identity.
Plus, we are tracking spotty showers and cooler temperatures for this weekend. Your full forecast coming up after this break.